Hey guys, Dr. QC Anderson here with Dream Practice Coaching. Number one mistake that you're going to find, and you're going to code word this as a lot of other things, but the concept is don't be a consumer, please be a producer. And this is the whole story of procrastination, right? So as functional medicine doctors, naturopaths, as any kind of doctor out there or any person that knows anything, what we tend to be is consumers and not producers. The easiest example of this in 2019 is the podcast, right? How many podcasts do you consume? Maybe one, maybe two. Okay. How many do you produce? And the answer is zero. So the thing about being a producer is you have to produce something in order for people to, one, know about you, and two, buy something from you. So the first thing that you have to do is learn something. So let's say that I was going to learn from a podcast this morning. Let's say I was going to watch a podcast. I'm going to listen to a podcast. I'm going to listen to that podcast on something like digestive health. So I choose digestive health. I listen to a podcast on digestive health. Then I go home and say, oh, that's really good information. Tomorrow I'll listen to their next podcast. But what you need to be doing is consuming information, which is going to be that podcast. Say you knew nothing about digestive health, you're going to learn about digestive health. And then after you learn about digestive health, you need to go and produce some content. You need to produce your own audio file. You need to produce your own written article. You need to produce a YouTube video. You need to produce something that people can consume. So you turn other people or your future patients or clients or consumers, you want to turn other people into consumers rather than yourself. So if you're watching this, you're literally consuming my video, right? That's what I want because I want you to buy something from me, right? Let's be straightforward there. But at the same time, you don't have to just watch this and buy something. If you're signing up for like my Eagles Nest training program, which is pretty expensive, you're paying a lot of money to invest. One of the biggest mistakes that people do is they invest in that and then they don't produce anything from it. So that's why I designed the Eagles Nest a little bit differently, because I absolutely can't stand how many times I hired coaches and that they kind of just disappeared, right? They didn't help me in the production phase. So my whole purpose of private coaching for everyone is to help you to become a producer. If you're not a producer yourself, we teach you to hire someone to become a producer. If you can't hire someone because you can't afford it, we teach ways to just make sure that you become that producer, right? There's free ways to become a producer, whether you like video, whether you like audio, whether you like written, or whether you want to go out and shake hands and smile with babies and play with puppies, right? If that's what you like to do, we're going to teach you to become a producer so that you're not a consumer anymore. Remember, if you have nothing to sell, if you haven't produced a product to sell, then don't be surprised if your practice or your finances aren't where you want them to be, right? So if I came to you and I said, hey, I have a really bad back, I feel like 10 chiropractic adjustments a week would really help that. Can you offer that? And you're like, oh yeah, I can offer that, but I've never done that before. That's not what people want to hear. People want to hear, oh yeah, I can offer you the 10 chiropractic adjustments a week. It is part of my elite program. That elite program costs a little bit more. If you're willing to invest in that program, I also recommend that you do this dietary program and take this anti-inflammatory supplement. Okay, and that's what people are looking for, because you just gave them 3 options of things to buy. I would package it all into one thing and say, this is what we sell. This is our 10 visit a week package. If you're a chiropractor, if you're a functional medicine doctor, if you're a naturopath, the number one thing that you have to offer that no one else has to offer, what sets you apart, we'll get into that a little bit later, but what sets you apart in general is always information, right? So information is the thing that sets you apart from a traditional conventional medicine approach. Okay, so you go to your primary care doctor and you say, hey, I've been getting recurrent ear infections. And your primary care says, oh, no problem, we'll give you an antibiotic. Oh, you got another one? Here's another antibiotic. That's fine, right? That's their model. But what we want to do in our model is say, or what you have to offer in our model, let's rephrase that, is that you can say to a patient, hey, I realize you're getting recurrent ear infections. What I would like to do is help you to not get those, right? So that's the information piece. Now, they don't know how to do that. Now, that in and of itself, literally recurrent ear infections, which is not my passion by any means, so I won't ever do this, could be a program, right? So you could do simply a 4-week program on how to end or eliminate recurrent ear infections. It's going to be very similar to all the other products that you would produce. It's going to have a dietary component, it's going to have a supplement component, and it's going to have a lifestyle component, right? Those 3 things are going to comprise every product that you sell, but you have to have that product. So when someone goes and Googles, how do I end recurrent ear infections for me or my child? I mean, there's obviously going to be niches for these, or ringing in the ears for guitarists or something like that. That's how small your niche can be. Someone's going to Google that and they want to buy something that's going to help them feel better. Okay, you have to produce that content. If you don't have that content, then they will not come to you. Okay, there's nothing for them to buy. So they'll say, wow, that's a really smart doctor. I really appreciate his information. He must be the best researcher that there is, he or she, obviously. And then they're going to move on to someone else that sells them a product, right? We appreciate your information, but that doesn't help me get better. People want to consume a product in order to make them feel better. That's what helps them start on their healing journey. Now, if your product is only your services, right? Your product is just your office visit, that's fine. That's a starting point. But what you have to do is you always have to be producing. I would guesstimate that most doctors, most people that are really into the research, we're consuming, 80%, producing maybe 20%. But if I ask you how many articles have you written this week, how many podcasts have you done, how many YouTube videos have you produced, even like a flyer for a patient or a handout or an email or a monthly newsletter, have you produced anything this month for your clients to consume? And if not, they have nothing to buy from you. And that's the key. So you have to become a producer. Stop being a consumer. You absolutely have to stop being a consumer. Best example is Facebook or social media. You have to produce on Facebook. You have to produce on Instagram. You have to produce on Snapchat. But you don't want to consume. You're just wasting your whole day. The person that only consumes and never produces, that's called a stalker on those websites, right? So you don't want to be that person. You want to be the person that's actually getting people better. Thanks.